Alrighty, what's up? This is for Mr. Phil. So we've got our white wires, black wires, then I'm going to add another cluster in because I'm putting a receptacle behind the wall. So these little dealios are called Romex strippers. They're kind of neat. If you do this a lot, it might be worth it. So one side is for 12.2, the other side is for 14.2. This is 14.2. We've already verified at the breaker with a multimeter that everything is dead. I'm gonna go ahead and use these to cut that jacket off real quick. So I pulled a little bit too much through. Luckily I can go on the other side of the wire and pull that back, or other side of the wall and pull it back a little. So then we just separate all these with their like wires. Pull that apart. Just gonna, oh actually, you know what? These are twisted ground. We're gonna untwist that. Jumper wire. To pull some out the end. So you end up with 3 loose wires. Take your strippers. Nah, I'm doing a video. Take the wire a little bit. Old receptacle. Here's our new one. This one has backstabs on it and it has screws. We're just going to go ahead and use the backstabs this time. Let's make sure. Where's our depth gauge? Here's our depth gauge. On the back there's a little gauge. Nice. So we're going to stab that. White goes into the silver side. And check our depth gauge on the black one. And black goes with gold. Since we're not using the screws, oops, I'm going to switch back to Phillips head. We'll go ahead and screw the screws down just to get them out of our way. Make everything a little bit tighter. A little bit cleaner in the box. Okay, our ground screws are already loosened. So we're going to take our green or our bare wire and we're going to put a little J into it. And we hook it around our screw, putting the short side of the hook in the travel direction of the screw when it's tightening. So if I'm turning it to the right, then the long side is going to be on the left of the screw, short side is going to be on the right, so that way it cinches it down instead of tries to push it out whenever you tighten. Then go ahead and take a band of electrical tape.
Do you know this video by heart?
Buddy, I've done this thousands of times. And we put this electrical tape around the sides like that. So that way we cover these little nasty screws, so we save the future person that works on it from electrocuting themselves. And we wrap it underneath the screws there. Alright, so we end up with a pigtailed receptacle. Now these are far too long, so we're going to cut these down to size a little bit. Let's cut them to about 4.5 inches. Since I recommended you use Wagos or wagos, whatever you want to call it. That's also what I'm going to be using. I've got a couple different sizes, but the 4 ways are what I want. So I need 3 of those. If I've got 3 of those, I might have to use 2 of these 3 ways in place of my 4th one. I'm sorry, 3rd one, whatever. So now let's take our handy dandy strippers, measure these up, and then go just a little bit into the connector. And that's about where I want to strip. So then I'm going to go ahead and take the white one, give it one, give a separate one to the black one, and then if we got to do a little funny something with the 2 of them, we'll do that on the ground side. So let's double check that I don't have any stuffed in here in my little pouch. Alright, so we'll use 2 of the 3s. That's okay. So I don't know if you can see that, but you want to wait till the connector is all the way, or the wire's all the way in the end of the connector. Make sure it's pushed in there good. And then we take this other ground, put it into connection 2 onto this one. Alright, since we've only got 1 hole left and we've got 2 wires right here, we're going to need this little ground jumper. And then we take a second 3-hole. And since this is just a little jumper, it can be a little shorter. Make sure that's stabbed all the way in. Okay, so we're gonna. You have those plans still? The ones we're using for cutting the wire off the roll?
Right here.
Beautiful. Thank you. Linesman's pliers. We're just gonna untwist these grounds that were already twisted together. I didn't do that in my prep work, but I'll do that now. And then we just take this little jumper with the 2 open connections and connect it to the other 2 pieces of bare copper ground. I like to hook up my ground first. Actually, let's straighten these out just a hair before we stuff them in there. Because the ground is the only thing saving you. So let's have that safety in there. So our ground connection is done, and then we just need to connect our white and black wires. So we'll go ahead and strip all these down, and then just insert them in. Now these are all a little long, so we're just going to go ahead and trim those down. Those are stripped. Let's make sure our receptacle's facing the correct direction. Now either one is fine. In my home I prefer to have them upside down so the ground prong is on the top, so if you touch it then you're more likely to hit the ground first, but this is technically how commercial would put them. Residential, however, would put them like this. So then we take our other 3 white wires. Let's make sure that's straight. And we stuff them into the Wago. Away we go. Sorry, that was bad. Last one's being a little sticky. Hey, there we go. Alright, all the white ones are in one. Let's pull the black one over to this side. wires are hooked together. All the white wires are hooked together. All the black wires are hooked together. Then we just fold it up and shove it back in and screw it all back together. So on this, you're going to want to fold the wires as much as you can. Sorry, my hands are going to be a bit in the way. But you want to just try and fold them as much as possible without just cramming them. Just gonna straighten that a hair if we can. Yep. Now, as for the center screw, there's no real must-have thing other than just snugging it up. But a lot of people will tell you that you need to leave your center screw straight up and down so that it doesn't accumulate dust. Actually, there's a little spot of drywall. We'll have to fix that eventually. But, yep, there you go.